For those of you who don't know, Willie Rodriguez Was Taken is a New York-based indie lo-fi band mainly comprised of two people. That being Willie, who did most of the vocals, and Alex, who worked on most of the instrumentation. In 2023, these two came together to create their final studio album, Wet Dream, an intricately crafted story of love and loss that, honestly, I would recommend to anyone I know. If you haven't listened to this album already, I would heavily recommend before continuing. I'm going to be talking about one of the main songs off of it, and honestly, it's best experienced through fresh eyes. You can always come back to me later. I wanted to talk about the title track off this album and analyze the themes of desire and loneliness that permeate the song, as well as the whole album. Coming in at just over 10 minutes, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. This band has a really interesting way of bending and combining different genres and expressions to create something entirely their own. In an interview with CU Denver professor Shelton Evans, he had this to say on the song.
And it's really interesting to me because they have this this stereotypical indie thing, which is where they're kind of blending a bunch of different sounds together and sort of like stitching them together in a way that feels underground.
The song is broken up into 4 distinct sections, which are honestly long enough to be songs in their own right. We start with an introduction that sets up the main ideas for the song, an instrumental section, a third part that builds on the themes from earlier, and a conclusion where all of the main ideas come together to form the entire totality of the song. The first part of the song sets up the main ideas of connection and loneliness. It's a lament to this person that Willie obviously cares very deeply for, but it's unclear if these emotions are reciprocated. In this section of the song, the lyrics describe the longing of a failed or failing relationship. The lyrics drone on about how he wants this person to love him so badly. He begs them to love them, even if they have to lie to say it. Next, we have the instrumental section that breaks up the loud, distorted electric guitars of the first part of the song and gives us a short acoustic loop that serves as a relief for the audience. This guitar pattern is actually a motif going throughout the whole album. It appears in 2 other songs, being the first song off the album Untitled and the last song Revised. I've not seen much discussion about it online, but I would argue that this motif is a pretty integral part of the album. Appearing in both the beginning, middle, and end, it serves as sort of a through line, carrying the audience throughout the story of the album. As the intensity of this section builds, we see a breakdown that carries us into the next section of the song. This section sees Willie screaming about his self-destructive habits. His use of substances are slowly destroying his relationships. The album speaks on drugs not only literally, but as a metaphor for the love that he strives for. This person, this connection is so deeply important and integral to the story of this song, but it's destroying his life. Another line at the beginning of this section goes, This lyric describes his use of porn as warping his sense of reality, changing how he views love and the people around him. The next line after it, This line shows us that his warped sense of love and attraction has changed how he views the people around him, viewing his romantic interests more as objects to be lusted over rather than people to care about. He describes how, because of these destructive vices, it feels like he can't form healthy relationships anymore. He's consumed by these vices, by these destructive tendencies, and can't escape. And then we move to the final part of the song. As we reach the climax of our song, we hear a melodic chant of I love you over and over again. The song descends into a screaming lament, reflecting on the mundanity of everyday life, the crushing weight of a 9-to-5 job, and how he feels like his body is failing him. The line, "For 7 years I had to drink myself alive," reflects on the fact that he feels like he can't go on without using these substances, just so he can work this 9-to-5, his body failing him. The lyrics are drab and depressing and can leave you with a sense that nothing will ever get better. I think looking at it in its totality, this song tells a beautiful story about love and heartbreak and drug abuse. But what it's really about is perseverance. After all of the horrible, terrible things, after dragging yourself through a terrible 9-to-5 and losing the love of your life, what it always comes back to is tomorrow. In time, everything will be fine. As the days go on, the heartbreaks of the past become fond memories. And slowly, everything will be okay. Tomorrow is another day.